If you want to see how I put together these delicious cinnamon rolls with just a few ingredients I had in my kitchen, stay tuned. It's pretty straightforward, it's pretty quick, and they're delicious. This is what we're going to use for the dough. It's pre-made, it's buttery, flaky, delicious, so it's good to go. Some butter. I use Earth Balance margarine. You use what you want. Such as cream cheese. I use tofuti cream cheese. It's vegan, but you can use regular cream cheese if you like. It's going to be so good, guys. You'll also need a baking sheet with some parchment paper on it. That's where we're going to roll the cinnamon rolls in. And you'll need a cast iron skillet. So let's begin. It's popped. Now I'm going to put them on the baking tray with the parchment paper, and I'm gonna just move a little closer so you guys can really see me. Yeah, you're not supposed to be looking at that roll on my back. You're supposed to be looking at the cinnamon rolls in my hand. So we're just gonna unroll the crescent dough onto the parchment paper. And we're gonna move kind of fast because it's warm and I don't want it to become a sticky mess. So that's how the doughs look. And they have these little perforated lines in them so you can separate them into the crescent rolls. But instead of separating them into the little rolls, what we're gonna do is kind of get rid of the lines and just make it one big rectangle of dough. As you can see on the bottom, I kind of pressed the dough together so it can just look like one big rectangle of crescent roll dough. So we're just gonna push it together, and then this is how it looks. It doesn't really have to be neat, guys. It's gonna be delicious. It doesn't have to be super neat. You just want it to get rid of those lines. So next we're gonna melt some butter. Like I said, I'm using Earth Balance vegan margarine, about a couple tablespoons. Yeah, so I didn't pour it all, but then I just poured a little bit. I used a knife to spread it all over the dough. So then you just sprinkle the cinnamon sugar onto the dough. Sorry, something was just on my shoulder here. And as we will sprinkle some on a little bit later. So we're gonna roll it in that direction that I'm pointing. You wanna roll it the long way. If you roll it the short way, it's not gonna have that many layers of the crescent roll dough. So we're gonna just roll it as you can see. And that's what it looks like. I rolled it halfway, and I'll continue to roll it doing it. So that's what it looks like when it's all rolled up. But first, we need to put some butter. Yes, I said butter on the cast iron skillet. A lot, but as I cut the slices of the cinnamon rolls and put them on there, I'll kind of like rub the butter around a little bit. I'm gonna preheat my oven to 375. That's what it says on the back of the crescent rolls. And I'm just gonna slice them. I'd say you should cut these like an inch or an inch and a quarter of an inch thick. I think it makes about like 8 cinnamon rolls or so. And then when I put them on the cast iron skillet, I just kind of like rub them around in the butter on the bottom and then space them out about 3/4 of an inch apart. So when they like bake and they spread, they're not all up on each other. Oh yeah. You see them? They're little cinnamon rolls that you just made with some crescent roll dough. Didn't really have cinnamon rolls in the fridge. And honestly, I kind of like to zhuzh up everything that I make anyways. And we're going to make like homemade frosting. So I think this recipe is much better than just regular cinnamon rolls. Then I pop them into the oven. And I'm gonna clean up before we get started on the frosting. A little bit of vanilla. Nom, nom, nom. So I had some leftover butter from earlier, but of course, you know, we needed a little bit more. So I warmed up some more butter for the frosting. And I don't really have a recipe for the frosting. Honestly, it's just based on taste and consistency. So I warm up the butter. And then I add confectioner sugar to it till it is the consistency that I like. Voila! It's cream cheesy sugary goodness. Oh yeah. It's gonna be really good on the cinnamon rolls. It's the perfect thickness, the perfect flavor. Let's check on these rolls. They're not ready. They have to be nice and brown on the top. They're gonna be soggy. You want them kind of crispy, and they look so good. And you just take the glaze. Oh, actually, you put a little bit more cinnamon sugar. Sorry, I spoke too soon. You put a little bit more cinnamon sugar on there. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Just a little more flavor. Then you take the glaze and you pour that baby all over the cinnamon rolls. Yes, Lord. Now, normally I would have like a spoon and drizzle it on, but since I'm holding my phone and recording, I just poured it straight out the bowl. I'm kind of missing the cinnamon rolls and it's getting in between them, but don't worry, I'm gonna fix that. Oh, you see it just sizzling? This is gonna be so good. Oh yeah. It's gonna melt and kind of give that glaze, like that glaze on a Krispy Kreme donut. If you wait a little bit, you can get more of like that white drizzle on them, but I like when it melts into the cinnamon rolls and it gives it this cream, cheesy, tangy, sweet glaze on top that kind of slightly hardens. Oh, it's so good. But I did save some to add a little more glaze. You see it, guys? Yes, I know you see it. So try this recipe out. Let me know if it works for you and if it tastes good, because I basically ate all these right after I made them. But if you're new to the channel, go ahead, subscribe. Give this video 1,000 thumbs up. Comment. And I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, guys. See ya.